Good morning, Year 7. Over the next few lessons, we're going to be looking through Chapter 12, which is on constructions and 3D shapes, and you're going to need this set of equipment, so a pen, a pencil, a pair of compasses, a protractor, and a ruler. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at page 218 to 219, which is on constructing bisectors. Now, the word bisect simply means to cut into two equal parts. Okay, so an angle bisector is when we split an angle into two smaller equal angles. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to draw ourselves a 40-degree angle. So we're going to do that by getting our protractor and our ruler, and we're going to draw a small line at the bottom, say 4 or 5 centimeters long. And then we're going to try and measure a 40-degree angle. So we're going to try and measure 40 degrees. Now the way we do that is we get our protractor and we place the middle of our protractor, the bit where the 90-degree line and the baseline meet, on one end of our line. It doesn't matter what end we choose, just as long as it's right on the end. Then in this case, because I'm on this end, I want to measure the inside scale, because I always start counting from 0 degrees. So I'm going to go across to where I see a 0, and I'm still on my line, and go up to 40 degrees, read it out to the edge, and make a small mark. Okay, so then once I've done that, I can then get my ruler, and I can join up this end with this line here. Okay. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to split this 40-degree angle into two equal parts using our pair of compasses. Okay, so now I'll just quickly go through how you set up your pair of compasses. So first you need to make sure you've got a pencil. Pop your pencil in, and you want to line it up so the tip of your pencil meets the tip of the point on your pair of compasses. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. You want to make sure your compass is nice and tight. So if it's really, really loose, it may be useful to just tighten up the screws at the end of your compass. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our pair of compasses and we're going to place the point of our compass right on the point of our angle. Okay. And then I'm going to set my compasses out just to a distance so I can cut both of these lines of my angle with a small arc. Okay, so it doesn't matter the distance. I can be here, I can be there, I can be really tiny, just somewhere that it's comfortable for you to be able to move your pair of compasses. And then importantly, you've got to make sure you are only holding this tip of the compass. You don't want to be holding the arms, because if you hold the arms of the compass, there's a chance that it's going to push in or push out. Okay, so you only want to be holding the tip of the compass, and you want to make sure that your pencil can cut through both lines. So I'm going to draw a small arc on this line here, and I'm going to draw a small arc on that line there. Okay, it doesn't need to be massive, just so you can see both of them nice and clearly. Okay, now importantly, do not change the distance between these compasses. Okay, between this point here and this point here, it must stay exactly the same. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the point of my compass through one of the intersections of my arc and the angle. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a small arc in the middle of the angle, just so nice and big so I can see it. And then, again, keeping the compass the exact same distance, I'm going to go to the other side and then draw another arc. Notice that it makes a kind of curved cross, doesn't it? Okay. Now I can place that down. I don't need to use that anymore. And then I can get my ruler, join up the point of my angle with the intersection of my curved arcs at the edge. Just join them up. And then if we remember, this angle was 40 degrees, wasn't it? So if we just quickly check, we should have two equal angles of 20 degrees each. So to measure my first one, place the point of my protractor, the middle of my protractor, right on the point of the angle. Make sure my baseline is nice and level. and I can see that that one is 20 degrees. Perfect. And then if I go to this one as well, I can see that that one there is also 20 degrees. So what I've done is I've taken this 40-degree angle and I have created an angle bisector to bisect it into two equal parts of 20 degrees each. Now, this type of thing can correspond to question 2 and question 3 on page 219. So if you'd like to pause the video here, or maybe go back and have a look through how I did it again, and then have a go at question 2 and question 3, I think that should probably take you maybe 10 minutes to have a go at those ones as well. Okay. The next bit that we're going to do is we're going to look at perpendicular bisectors. So now, those of you that are eager, you should know what a perpendicular line is. So if we write our new title of perpendicular bisector, okay, so a perpendicular bisector just means cutting a line with a perpendicular line into two equal parts. The word perpendicular just means 90 degrees. Okay, so we're going to draw one line, and then we're going to use our pair of compasses again to split it into two equal parts, and our bisector is going to meet that line at 90 degrees. Okay, so if we now draw ourselves a line, I tend to draw these lines because we've got squared paper. It's quite easy for us to draw a perpendicular bisector without our pair of compasses. So instead, I tend to draw it at a slight angle so we can see the use of drawing our bisecting line. Okay, so if I draw a line, I've made mine 9 centimeters long. Okay, it doesn't matter how long you make it, but 9 centimeters, and you want to mark the ends of your line with a dot so you know where they are. Okay. And I know it's 9 centimeters, so I know that when I create my perpendicular bisector, it should be 4.5 centimeters either side. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our pair of compasses, and we're going to place the point of our compass on one end of the line, and we're going to stretch our pencil so it's just over halfway. Okay, just over halfway. It doesn't matter how much. If it's less than halfway, that's a problem. So we want it just over halfway. You can use a ruler to check. So if I check there, I can see that that is way over halfway. Okay, it's 5.5 centimeters rather than the 4.5, which it would be just there. So just over halfway, and I'm going to draw an arc above the line and an arc below the line. Okay, so I've just drawn myself an arc above, and I've drawn an arc below. Okay, so now, importantly again, just like with before, we make sure that we only hold the tip of the pair of compasses, and we're not changing this distance at all. So we don't want to pinch that in at all now. We don't want to stretch it out. We want to leave it exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to swap to the other hand because I'm going to the other side of my line. So I'm placing the point of my compass right on the point of my line. And then I'm going to draw another arc above. Notice that it meets the other one just there. I'm going to draw an arc below. And I've got two crosses, one above and one below. Okay. Then I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to join them up. So I'm going to go to that point, through the line to this point at the bottom here. So I'm just going to draw a line going straight through those, like that. And then what I should have created is a perpendicular bisector. So this is my bisecting line because it has split this line into two equal parts, hopefully. And it's a perpendicular bisector because hopefully this is 90 degrees. So we can now check that. So the first bit we can do is have a measure of our line. So I can see that this is 4.5 centimeters. And this bit here is also 4.5 centimeters. Now, Hopefully you remember how to represent lines that are of equal length. We can just pop a little line through these like that. And then I can just quickly double check that it is 90 degrees. So I can place the center of my protractor on the corner of my angle. The baseline of my protractor is going to go on the line that I drew initially, the 9 centimeter line. And I'm just going to quickly measure how that is. So here, inside scale again, because I'm measuring this angle. So I want to use the inside scale. So going from 0, I can see that that is 90 degrees. And if I go to the other side, I would use the outside scale because I start counting at 0 and go up to my bisecting line, and I can see that that is also 90 degrees. So I can just place a 90 degree line mark there. Okay. Importantly, you see these construction lines that I've drawn on this one here, so these arcs, and for the angle bisector, never ever rub those out, okay, because that is your working. If you were doing sort of algebra, you wouldn't want to rub out all of your working beforehand. It's the same here. Don't rub out your working because that is really, really crucial. This question, perpendicular bisector, relates to question 1 and question 5 and question 4a, b, and c. Okay, so question 1, question 4a, b, and c, and question 5. And I think those questions will probably take you maybe 10-15 minutes as well. If you finish all of that, there's a really nice extension problem of question 6 and question 7. Something interesting happens when you draw any triangle and you bisect the angles using the method above, or when you create perpendicular bisectors of the sides using the method that we've just gone through there. So have a go at those and email your class teacher. So make sure you're emailing your class teacher if you need any help with any of the things that we've gone through in this video. Okay, good luck and well done.